Hello, I am so excited. We have Dr. Liana Rodriguez here today, and we should be on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. So it's my first time doing it. So I'm really excited because we have something super, super special that Dr. Liana is also going to be a part of April 21st at 6 Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. So everyone who's been following us for many years knows that we've been doing the Women's Health Forum at the libraries and the University of Southern Mississippi. And last year we couldn't do it. And so this year I really wanted to do it. And so everyone agreed. The panelists said, yeah, let's do it virtually. So that is actually going to happen in April. So let me just pop in a little graphic, if you don't mind, so I can share it so everybody knows who the panelist is. I'm popping it in. So there it is. It's Wednesday, April 21st, and these are our panelists. Dr. Liana, you'll see her on the right. Betty Sue O'Brien, our natural physician, myself, and then we have Dr. Devin Miles, who's also a doctor of natural medicine, and then Tina Wong. She's also Tina Hong. She is also an incredible executive health coach. And you'll see her. We're going to be doing this once a week. So let me get rid of that. So today we're going to start off with Dr. Liana. So Dr. Liana, I am so honored that you said yes to let me interview today, because in my practice, I notice that a lot of people have difficulty losing the weight, and it's not really so much about the importance of losing weight. It's really how you're feeling. It's not about how you look to other people, because it's okay to not be slim and thin, right? What we're talking about today is people that really want to lose the weight also for their health and just because they want to feel good. So thank you so much. But I do want to introduce you to everybody, because I don't think everybody knows you. So I know you're kind of evolving as the incredible medical practitioner that you are, because you are an entrepreneur, functional medicine physician, which takes many years to get. So I applaud you for finishing that and getting that. And you also, a lot of people don't know, but you were in the U.S. Air Force. So you're a U.S. Air Force veteran. So thank you for your military time. I'm so honored that you do all of that for the work, for the country, and for all of us, keeping us healthy. So Dr. Liana is also the founder of Rejuvenist Health, the premier resource for busy professional women to lose weight and transform their health. And she's helping a lot of women who are chronic yo-yo dieters, to lose weight utilizing a root cause approach and metabolic detox without pharmaceuticals, giving up coffee or spending endless hours in the gym, while also helping them to reframe their mindset and sustainably keep it off. And I love that you say that, about the mindset, because everybody's like, oh, I want to lose weight. But it's the body, mind, and the spirit that has to be united. So thank you, Dr. Liana. And before I ask you the 3 questions that I would love for you to answer, do you want to say anything?
I just want to say hi. I want to say thank you. I'm so grateful that you asked me to be a part of the Women's Health Forum, and I love what you're doing. I love the book, the self-love, self-care book, and I'm really grateful to be a part of your world, and that you've asked me repeatedly to come back into the Women's Health Forum, because I believe in that mission. And it really is, I share in that mission of really empowering women with the tools that they need to take care of themselves and be able to create health on their own and not be so dependent on external things and circumstances to make them feel well, right? So that is my mission. And I love that we're doing this forum. I love getting in on it. And it's always a really good time. And there's always so much information that we share. And it's always mind-blowing information, right? So I'm grateful. So thank you for having me.
Yes. And I love you because you're on the cutting edge of everything that we need to know. So there's so many people out there that are going to the same practitioners, which is wonderful. If you love your healthcare practitioner, please continue going. In the Women's Health Forum and bringing Dr. Liana here as well, all of us, we always stay up to date to what's changing in the health field. And so we need to share with everyone, no matter what socioeconomic level you're at. We want this always to be free and accessible to all women all over the world. So that's why I'm so excited. And thank you, Dr. Liana. So I'm going to ask you the first question, which is really heavy on so many people's minds, is why is it so hard to lose weight?
So yeah, this is a question that I get a lot from a lot of women. And my functional medicine practice has really evolved. And at this point, what I realized was that most people need the foundations and the basics, and they don't know those things. They don't know what it takes to actually create a baseline of health for themselves, because we were never taught that, right? We're not taught to how to take care of ourselves at a very basic level. Like, a lot of people don't even know how they should be eating, and they don't know what's right for them. So in my practice over the years, things have evolved because I've seen that the majority of what people need are really the foundations and the basics, and they start moving the needle and they start feeling better way quicker, right? And then, so 80% of that is kind of the basics, and then 20% is what they need personalized and done, sort of precision medicine, right? When it comes to lab testing and testing, not guessing. So it's so hard to lose weight for some people because they're dealing with so many other issues, and we're taught in the mainstream, like just in general, we're taught that we're overweight, or that we need to lose weight because we're it's all calories in, calories out, right? Or we're not exercising enough. Like, there's this old school dogma that's still very heavy in our culture, and it's so much more complicated than that. And so people are addressing the wrong things when it comes to trying to lose weight. They're trying to go about it the wrong way, and they're actually trying to utilize outdated methods that no longer serve us, right? So for me, I'm the best at serving women who are in their 30s and 40s and 50s, right? Who have been chronic those yo-yo dieters, right? On and off diets, like their whole life, regaining weight, losing it, and then all of a sudden it stops working, right? So I'm the best at helping those women because, all of a sudden you get to a certain age and it's like, oh my gosh, what I was doing doesn't work anymore. And it doesn't work anymore because you're using outdated methods, right? So we're not taking into account that hormones come into play, right? And then we're also focusing on the wrong hormones. We're not focusing on the two hormones in charge, which are insulin and cortisol. No one's thinking about blood sugar balancing when it comes to weight loss, right? That's not on the forefront of people's minds. And then also, we're not taking into account toxins, right? We're not taking into account the fact that we've lived almost half our lives in this society that's modernized, and we're swimming in toxins in our cosmetics, our makeup, our water, our homes, just all over the place, in our food, and we've accumulated toxins in our body. And so when we try to lose weight, it can feel hard because you can actually release toxins when you actually burn fat, because toxins love to sit inside fat cells. So that's why it's hard for some people. They start to fast, they start to exercise and sweat, and they're circulating toxins that have been sitting there for so long. And that can make you feel bad. That's what gives us the brain fog, the fatigue, the keto flu, right? And so those are just a couple of the reasons why it's so hard. There's also the concept that you're working against your biology, because now we have, we're so in depth and getting into nutrigenomics and epigenetics. And now we understand so much more as to how to work with our blueprint, how to work along with our DNA, right? So instead of just guessing what we should be eating and what diet's right for us, now we can really personalize it more. So.
Right. And so I'm glad that you brought up the toxins, because the toxins are the environment of the cells as well. So our mindset, how we're thinking about ourselves, the thoughts that we have about ourselves, that's the environment of the cells. So in terms of toxins, I guess maybe a simple way would be just to make sure that, you're eating more organically, that you have maybe one more example of how you can remove toxins from your environment.
Yeah. So, it's funny. I love that you said that. So we tend to think of it, and this is where the mindset shift for, I think, all of us as a collective whole need to really embrace, is that, we need to move away from just having the physical things, right, be on the forefront of our mind, because the toxin environment is no longer just having like heavy metals in your water, right? Or having antibiotics and hormones laced in our food, having Roundup laced in, our water supply, and even making it into medications, right? So no longer is it just about that, but now we know that a toxic environment can also be internal, meaning like your thoughts and your emotions. And, we have to think about toxic relationships. We have to think about the inner self-critic. We have to think about this, all the feelings of self-hatred that a lot of people actually really have. And it's so sad, so those are also toxic environments. And so living a toxin-free life isn't just about getting like a 3-stage reverse osmosis water filter, and getting a water filter on your shower, or making sure that you're drinking out of glass and not plastic, making sure that you're eating organic foods, right? And having whole foods, not processed. It's also about evaluating your environment, evaluating what toxic dynamics are present in your surrounding relationships, and also what are the toxic stinking thinking thoughts that you're addicted to, right?
I love that. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
we can get addicted to those thoughts, and that's what can keep us in the chronic states of stress.
Stinking thinking thoughts. I'm going to remember that. I love that, because that's the environment of ourselves. So, and yes, toxic relationships. I remember I knew a couple many years ago, and they said, well, the woman said, I lost 20 pounds, but now, I feel like my husband is, sabotaging me, and I'm gaining my weight again. And it does, because maybe the relationship is a little bit toxic in that direction. Maybe your partner doesn't feel good that you're losing that weight. And so, counseling is what I recommend, counseling for yourself, or maybe for marriage counseling as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, the whole, so having that support system for losing weight. And I think, a lot of people don't, and I'm going to say this, and this just might trigger some people, but there are some people who are afraid to lose weight and afraid to change their appearance or change their habits, because they know that it's actually going to change the dynamics of a relationship that they've become comfortable with, that they don't want to change. And they know that other person isn't going to feel comfortable with them at this new level, operating kind of with a new personality almost. Because what I found with my own personal journey, as I lose weight, my relationships actually change, because I'm literally operating from a different place, right? I feel so much more confident and gorgeous in my own skin. So I just feel more, basically stepping into your own power, right? That's how I've felt with it. And I know a lot of other people feel that way too. That's what most of my clients feel like, most of the testimonials that they give after, and in the interviews afterwards, they are different people on the other side of it. They're so much more empowered, and they're so much more laser focused on what they want. They almost become unapologetic about living the life that they want to have, because now they know and they feel that it's possible, because weight loss can feel so impossible for people, right? But when you achieve that, and you actually feel like you can have some connection again, and be in right relationship with your body, and have a little bit of control over what's going on, then it's like, oh wow, almost, if I can do that with my body, now what else is on the table, right? Like, what else is up for grabs in terms of living the life I really want to have?
Yes, I love that. And weight loss is not just, just to look good, but it's also to prevent illnesses,
Yeah. And I mean, that goes without saying. So, and that goes without saying. And we don't need to pull out medical research for that, right? We don't need it, but I think
it's just like, I just wanted to remind everyone, it's for your health.
Yeah. And I think people know that, and they start, and that's actually what triggers a weight loss journey too, for most people, is that they start feeling really bad in their body. It's not just the fact that clothes fit or you don't like the way you look, but you actually start feeling like, ooh, I got this fatigue, I've got brain fog, labs start to come back abnormal when you get blood work, or, blood pressure issues, blood sugar issues start happening. And honestly, a lot of what can help to reverse some of those things is some of the lifestyle changes that go into, living a healthier life and by actually losing some weight.
Yes, and that's going to help a lot of people with sleep, which hopefully we're going to talk about a little bit in the Women's Health Forum too, because that's a big thing. Okay, so my second question is, how does a detox help with weight loss?
So, I've after practicing, functional medicine, what I found was a lot of, genetically, obviously, we're all individual, and we all have, everyone's at a different place in their life hormonally and biochemically, and so that's what makes us all very special. But there is one common thread that everyone should be doing, and I think this is why I have my Facebook group, is because I'm trying to educate everyone there as to how to support their detoxification pathways in their liver. And it doesn't just happen in the liver, it happens very selectively throughout the body, but mainly through the liver. And so people talk about detox all the time, right? It's so fancy. It's this sexy buzzword, like, oh, I'm going to do a detox, right? Like when you're binging, or you have a really like ugly diet, or you've been eating really bad, or you just feel unhealthy, it's easy to, grab like a smoothie detox, right? Or do some kind of detox with supplements, but you have to learn how to do something like that in the right way.
Yeah.
And the thing is, detox is happening in our body 24/7 from the cradle to the grave. Like our liver is always processing things to actually excrete them from the body. So there are certain phases of detox there. And I like to talk about 3 phases of detox mainly. And that's what I educate the women in my Facebook group about, is how do you support these detoxification pathways that are always happening in your body? How do you support them so that you can regularly remove toxins from your body so that they don't accumulate, right? And then also too, what's happening is you're also helping your metabolism. So it's almost like you're removing the wrenches from metabolism, and you're basically opening up the water. So if you think of it like a water hose, right? Like you have the valve, right, from the house, and then you have a hose. And let's say you have another, like the spray gun. If you want to let water run, you've got to open up the spray gun and open up the valve too, right, to let all the water out. So if you don't do that, if you're trying to run all this water, but the spray gun is closed, all this water is going to back up in the hose, right? And that's a bad situation. So when it comes to detox pathways, what we're trying to do is have all your valves open so all the toxins can be processed and flow and be excreted out of your urine or your bowels, or through pores, just very effortlessly. That way that when you try to lose weight and you try to burn fat, you're not feeling bad. So it actually helps the whole process. And that's how you take a more holistic approach to losing weight. So that's kind of the approach that I like to utilize. And so and that's really the approach, that most people go through. It's kind of a method, supporting your detox pathways is one of the things that most people have to go through any functional medicine protocol, working with, any functional health provider.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's wonderful. Yeah, I didn't know a lot about that. And I've never even thought about, the wrench, because, I remember when I hit 40, I was like, I don't think I'm going to stay at this weight gain. I had given birth to 3 children, and I'm like, wow, this is all downhill from now. And
it doesn't have to be that way. I know. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. And so I know we're going to put the information at the end, but if people have questions to ask you, you're going to tell us how we can ask you that, right? How we can get on your Facebook group.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can actually, I think I can drop the link here. I have, if women would like to know more, and this is what I love to do is really help high achieving women in their 30s and 40s actually try to get their health and their weight back online before they hit menopause, right? Because that's something that we really don't talk about. When you're in your 30s and 40s, you're trying not to think about menopause, right? You don't want to think about it because you hear the horror stories. And the thing is, if this is the time though, right before then, to actually get things online and actually get things working, right? And synchronously and, actually be able to lose weight, balance cortisol and balance your blood sugar, because that way, as you enter that next stage of life, as hormones start to change inevitably, then you're able better to handle it and your body handles it much better. So I think a lot of women are suffering in menopause because, your 40s are very stressful, right? Most people are, at the peak of their career in their 40s, right? Their kids are growing, like if they've had kids in their 20s and 30s. So you probably have like tweens or teens at that point. So life can be very stressful and parents are aging. So, it's a very special time that can be very stressful, but also it's a critical time for you before you enter another stage of life. So
yes, and just before we go to the third question, I just want to say that a lot of women don't know that menopause can begin as perimenopause at around the age of 35 for some women. And peri just means around, so around the time of menopause. So I'm glad that you talked about the hormones and also detoxing. So thank you. So the last question is, why do people regain weight? What is that thing that's happening?
So I love this. I get this question a lot, and this is why I work closely with my clients to make sure that they don't regain weight, right? So I have a program called the Rejuvenist Reset Formula, where we reset their metabolism, reset hormones, and utilizing a detox to lose weight. And what happens is at the end of it, they come into this new relationship, this new mind-body relationship with their body, that they're able to actually smoke out what is good for them. So it's almost like they're able to discern what's going to be right for them. So it's almost a little bit like intuitive eating. Not exactly, but it is. There is that component to it. And they learn how they need to eat and they know exactly how to keep the weight off. So if they're starting to gain weight, they know how to get it back down and they know how to actually keep it off. So that's one reason is a lot of weight loss plans are not doing that, and it's very sad because there's so much good information online, but there's no good way. It's not like packaged in a way that's actually really useful in the long run, right? So they're only focusing on like calories in, calories out, or excluding one certain kind of food group, right? You see like tons of meal plans on Pinterest. People are Googling at 3 a.m. Like there's so much that you can get online, but you need to know how to implement that, and you need to know if it's right for you, and you need to know if it's working. So that's where, having some expert guidance to help you keep lose the weight and actually keep it off comes in. So, and this is why there's a holistic approach that's necessary. And that's one reason why a lot of people do regain weight, because they can use a food plan, but it's almost like a bicycle, right? So like, let's say you have a bicycle wheel. Let's say you only have like 2 spokes on the bicycle wheel versus like 10. Like which one is more stable? You want to have the bicycle wheel with 10 spokes, right? You don't want to have the one with only like 2, so that's what a holistic approach does for you. And the holistic approach involves not just what you eat, not just how to change, your food plan and what to do, but also it addresses mindset. And that's what a lot of people are not doing. And that's what's missing for so many, is that they don't know how to overcome things. They don't have the tips and the techniques as to how to overcome things like in the moment, right? When you have that craving, or when you have that initial urge to like give into something or temptation, how do you become greater than your mind and body in that moment so that you can go past it and not give in and be proud of like the behavior and the actions that you took, right?
And
that's what's lacking.
Yeah. And I think that food triggers our past memories, how we grew up, whether we didn't have maybe a lot of food when we were young, maybe we were poor, that's a trigger. Maybe we ate too much. We were, and so we used food to calm our nerves and our anxiety. So that's another trigger. And then the third thing I wanted to say is a lot of my patients, they have SIBO. small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, they have celiac, they have Crohn's, and they don't even realize that they have this these digestive problems. So that's why it's really good to get together with someone who's more holistic, right?
Yeah. And, here's the thing. People mistake holistic for like natural, meaning non-medication.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what it means, right? Holistic means that you're going to take a multi-pronged approach, which means you're not just going to figure out like what you need to take, what food to eat, how to exercise, but you're also going to figure out like how to think and how you need to change your thinking and feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the key that people need. People need to actually unhook themselves from the addiction of having these thoughts and emotions that have kept them stuck and making the same choices and creating the same behaviors that have kept them stuck in, feeling overweight or getting them sick.
Amen. Amen. Woo!
So that's the holistic approach. And so that's why, I actually screen people before working with me, because I'm letting them know, like, if you just want a food plan and you just want an exercise plan, I may not be the person for you, because you're going to hear a lot of things and I'm going to ask you a lot of questions that are going to make you uncomfortable. And that's, we don't, if you really want to grow and you really want to be successful, you don't want to be in your comfort zone, right? Because the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. You need to be a little bit uncomfortable, because you're going to have to make some changes that you're not used to. And so a lot of people want to stay comfortable, and that's why they don't want to start a diet. That's why they say, I'll start tomorrow, because I don't want to be uncomfortable today, right? And, and I love that you talked about the inner child and all that, because that's huge. So it's my belief that a lot of adults are walking this earth, adulting from a place that they're very wounded, like in their inner child wounds, right, are just triggered all over the place. So we are actually, when we're giving into cravings and we're actually binging, sometimes we don't realize that it could be connected to some sort of emotional tie or some sort of spiritual or mental tie or past trauma from either our childhood or sometime in our, earlier in life, right? It doesn't have to be when you're a child, but just some unhealed wound that they're reacting to. And the thing is, that's the reaction is that of a child, but you're not crying, right? You're not pouting. You're not lashing out and throwing a temper tantrum. You're actually, taking this approach where you're feeding yourself. And some people don't feed themselves. They're actually smoking, or they're drinking, or they're gambling, or porn, right? Like all the addictions that people use to like numb that inner child pain, right? Mm-hmm. So that's, to me, there has to be this adultification that happens, this ownership and responsibility, where you kind of own your stuff and take a good hard look at yourself and see, where do you need to parent yourself? Like, where do you need to give yourself that self-love and compassion?
Yes, self-love.
Yes.
Love.
Yeah, so that's my, that's really the core of my program, is helping people garner a little bit more emotional intelligence in that respect, so that they're able to parent themselves when they feel that urge or they feel something coming up. They don't no longer tie it to food, and they no longer tie the solution to food, but they're able to calm themselves down, from a place that's, from adulthood, right?
Yeah.
So.
I love that. Oh my gosh, we covered so much in 30 minutes, and that was my goal. I was like, I hope we can just do this for 30 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. So, okay, so what if someone wants to work with you? What's the number one thing they need to do?
So, there are a few places that you could actually find me. I do have a Facebook group called Detox for Weight Loss. And then also too, what I'd love to offer people watching is, one of my things is losing weight without giving up coffee, because I love coffee. And so I've put together some of my most powerful coffee recipes that I use in the morning to keep me productive and to kickstart my metabolism, right? So that this is what I've used, and this is actually at this point what thousands of people have actually used to help themselves, be able to still have coffee no matter what food plan they're on and be able to jumpstart their metabolism. So I'm going to send this link. I think you might be able to get it. I'm not sure if you see it.
And,
But it's
and if not, I'll just, because this is the first time I'm using this streaming device. If not, I'll just type it into the actual Facebook comments, and it goes on LinkedIn and so on.
Sure. Yeah. I'll actually post that. I'll post that in your live video. But people can download. Yeah. So you can download this batch of my favorite coffee recipes that I've used. And so, and then also too, that email comes from me. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm on Instagram too at Dr. Liana Rodriguez, or you can just reply to my email if you download my coffee recipes. So,
okay. Awesome. And what is your email, that if someone wanted to contact you today, what is your email?
So, Liana at rejuvenisthealth.com. Okay. Is the best email to get me at. So so I can post that too, along with the coffee recipe link.
Awesome. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And I just wanted to remind you all that we are going to be on, let me just put this back up. It's Women's Health Forum. There'll be 5 of us asking your live questions, April 21st. 2021. So
I'm super excited about that.
I'm learning the technology. So this is working, I'm just in shock. So
I think it's fantastic. It's fabulous. Well, I just believe in divine timing and everything working when you have a purpose. And you have such a large mission and a really important purpose in this world. So I don't see why the technology wouldn't work. So thank you for everything that you do and for being the light in this world that, and the shining example of what you're teaching. I think that's really important for people to see that and know that you don't just, you didn't just write a book, you lived that book, and you don't just teach these things, you actually practice them too. So if anyone who follows you on social media will see that. And I love that. So thank you.
But thank you for reminding me. I didn't even show anybody my book.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Love it.
Thank you for reminding me. All right. So Liana, I will see you on April 21st for 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, and hopefully everyone is going to join us. It's not a public event, so it is a private event. So I'm going to put it up on my social media so everybody can get the link, and Dr. Liana is going to post it for all of the people that follow her. So that way everyone has the link. I'll try to post that either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and it's private, which means it's going to be juicy.
Yes, it's going to be juicy, and there's 5 of us answering your questions. So I do want to let everybody know that I would love for you guys to listen to music and to dance, because that's my little tip for the day, listening to music and dancing. And Liana and I love to dance and listen to music. And that also helps with everything, with weight loss and everything, just creating that joy and that love within you instantly, because we have so much to be joyful for, right? So much to be grateful for. And I'm grateful for you, Dr. Liana. I'm sending you so much love.
Same, likewise.
Love everybody. Sending peace and love. Bye.